What's going on, everyone? My name is Dak, and welcome back to another episode of Dak Chats. We'll kind of address the elephant in the room. No eviction tomorrow. Now, because of all the January 6th hearing stuff, the trial is trumping everything else on TV. And we initially were told, okay, it's going to get pushed to Friday. Now, that would have meant most likely. Now, I initially thought that they would just push the eviction one day because I know that they've done that, had to do that in the past, where they would have to readjust their schedule a little bit because of certain events. One season, CBS was hosting NFL on Thursday nights, and they had to completely shift their whole lineup for the rest of the week. So we've seen them do that before, but based on how early it is, with the flow of the game, most people were thinking that we would just have the eviction taped on Thursday and then play it. We see it on Friday, which means most likely feeds are cut Thursday night going into all day Friday. That would suck because we're not going to see the HOH, who won right away, and what their plans are for formulating 90 FA to target. Possibly not even seeing the nomination itself. Then, as we're getting adjusted to that, news broke that not only is it getting postponed, well, now it's not postponed till Friday, it's postponed till Sunday. And we're going to get a special 2-hour episode containing the eviction, HOH, and nominations, which I'm curious how they're going to do. I don't imagine logistically they could possibly have Julie stick around for the nomination portion. So we're going to have half the episode with the host and half without. It just seems kind of strange to me. I don't know how they're going to work with that, but so now that's just a side point. But now, not only are we going to miss feeds from Friday to or from Thursday to Friday, now we're missing from Thursday all the way to Sunday. So mid-afternoon Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday until at least 6 o'clock Big Brother time when they air the episode. Probably not even until East Coast time. So there's a lot of people upset. I completely understand why. I'm right up there. Now, this is not, from my understanding, this has nothing to do with production. They don't have any say. I'm sure they voiced their opinion, but there's no doubt about the fact that this is going to kill the momentum. It's going to kill a lot of the momentum that from what we see, because we're going to come back Sunday and the veto will have already been played, most likely. So we're not, the only thing left would be the veto ceremony. So we're going to have no idea, no insight to how any decisions are made. It's not a guarantee that the feeds are going to be cut, but that is what the likelihood is. The likelihood of them showing us who was voted out before the episode, very, very small. So, we'll just have to buckle up and see what happens, and we'll be here to talk about it. So we're going to be doing episodes. Currently, schedule is going to be episodes on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And then I also plan on doing some live stream watch-alongs. So as soon as those feeds come back, I'll probably be on doing a live stream, live feed watch-along. If you guys want to join, make sure to hit if you haven't already subscribed, and make sure to hit the notification icon. It'll let you know as soon as I go live. I plan on doing those a lot this summer. I might even have a couple guests on with me just to do those. So, we're going to have a lot of fun doing that the rest of the summer. But it's going to be tough to jump back into it. So there's only so much we can talk about. It's already been talked off to all ends. But yeah, I think at this point we should just jump on into the episode and just go from there. So coming in, first thing we see is that the house is already talking about how Pooch is the target, right? And Jasmine mentions, I'm happy because either way, it doesn't matter, right? Ultimately, I want Pooch to go at this point. It's kind of what I've decided. But even if Taylor goes, she was the target last week. She still got a big target on her back, so she's definitely if she goes home, I'll be perfectly fine with that. So she's going into this week thinking it's going to be an easy week. Now, the veto is kind of in question, right? Because we don't know how many people are going to compete. We don't know who else is going to get drawn, and Jasmine. Because of her injury, she may not be able to compete. So they're going into this with kind of high hopes. Now, there's not very many people that would take off Pooch. I don't even know if Joseph would take Pooch off at this point. I don't think that, based on what him and Pooch know, that either one of them are uncomfortable enough that they feel that they need to, because they both, not as much as the episode portrays. Pooch definitely was starting to scramble just the night before nominations, or the earlier in the day. He's worried, but I don't know that Joseph would be scared enough to pull him off. So there seems to be pretty good odds of the week going the way Jasmine wanted. Amira is talking with some of the other girls, saying that they need to make Pooch feel comfortable. Don't cause him any red alerts, because we don't need him to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to weasel through and make deals and convince people to keep him. And, that can light a fire in him for the veto too. So they want to keep him as tame as possible. Pooch does try and talk to Jasmine to confirm if, plan's still the plan, right? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And, she says she's happy that he still thinks that's what's going on, because it's going to be an easy blindside. And I think ultimately that's what everyone is wanting, is just to see that blindside reaction. I know as a fan, it's really fun to watch, and I feel like for me, if I were in the house, I'd be a lot more nervous to do that. It'd give me a lot more anxiety to blindside someone. But maybe some people just thrive off that, So, but yeah, she wants there to be a blindside, and she's happy that he's kind of going along with that. Nicole says that Taylor was a target last week, as we all knew, but they're starting to realize that can be more of an asset, that she has to be a target. The girls are starting to realize that she's coming to them and she wants to work with them, and they're going to use that to weaponize her. And then if they can get Jasmine to help get a couple guys out, and Taylor were to win the next HOH, now not all of this talked about, but on the feeds, they definitely were planning on hoping that she would get HOH, and that way she can take out one of the bigger guys. And if one of the other guys gets angry, they'll just take her out. No blood on their hands. So they're going to try and use her as a shield and as some type of weapon, to see what all they can accomplish, which is smart. And I do think that Taylor really could win. We've seen that she can be a good competitor. It's just going to be a matter of, she can pull through at the end, but she's going to have to be watchful of what other people's intentions are around her, and make sure that she's listening to the right people. Taylor says that she really does want to work with the girls, and she wants to build that trust with them. But even despite that, she's still going to gun for the veto. If she has the opportunity to take herself off, she definitely does want to do that. And even to the point where we see her at the end, she's talking to Michael a lot, saying, I'm hoping that I pull Michael's name, because if I don't win, he's the next best person to pull me off. I at least have a chance with him. And so, yeah, we go into that veto with everyone having high expectations of what's going to happen. And I think there's only 2 people in there that are actually wanting to win it, to have someone take him off. Everyone else, while, like Michael even mentions he wants to, Jasmine doesn't want that. And so he's just ready to move on past that. So, even though that's what he wants to do, he knows that that's not what Jasmine's wanting. That's not what her end goal is. So he's just gonna stick with what she wants, or at least that's the vibe he gives us. So even though he wants to use the veto to save Taylor, he knows that that's not what Jasmine wants. Jasmine doesn't want to get blood on her hands. She doesn't want her anymore. She doesn't want to have to put up a third nominee. And she says that'll ruin the blind side. And she wants to have that blind side for Thursday night. We see one of the best competitions we've ever seen, which was the contact race. I've never had to wear contacts. I've always seen it as something that did look very painful. If I'm being honest, I never understood how people were able to do it. To those of you that can, right on. I mean, I more power to you, because I don't know how I'd do that. And but yeah, we see a race, and we have a winner. We have Michael, who wins. We even get the competition music for him. So that's what that is. We finally see the TV show address some of the bonding that Joe and Pooch had. I'm not going to get too much into it. There's been plenty of people that have already talked about it, and that's only a fraction of what we've seen on the feed. So, one thing I will notice is that because we got the DRs, that Pooch is like, oh yeah, for sure, we're totally close, definite bromance, and, just really trying to sell we're just buddies. And all I'll say is it did look like a couple arguing in that bathroom. That's all I'll say. So we see that right before the comp, Taylor's asking Michael, to pull him off, and or saying that, she's asking Michael to pull her off if she wins, and he tells her, that's what I want to do, but I got to talk with Jasmine and see what she's wanting, and make sure that I'm going along with what she wants. Michael. And then we get more into Michael saying, I want to, and then he goes and talks to. And then we circle back to where we talked about earlier, where Michael goes up and talks to Jasmine, and she basically says, I don't want to get any more blood on my hands. I don't want to put up a third nominee. So I'd rather just keep everything the same. And he kind of took a hint and doesn't even mention it, or at least he didn't on the show. I don't remember. I didn't catch if he done the feeds or not. But he's just like, I know where this is going, and I think we just need to keep everything the same. So, but who knows? Anything can happen. And does he win? Well, we did see that Jasmine does sit out because of the type of competition. Is too physical. I don't know that it really would have been that challenging for her. It feels like, honestly, it kind of looked like that competition was built for her. She could use every muscle and every bone, just not her feet or her hands. So it was kind of interesting that she sat out, and she's still on the sidelines like, now I can't play. I sure hope these other people win and do what I want them to do. It's like, well, they gave you the option. They didn't say you couldn't, which means the doctor probably said it's up to her if she wants to or not. So that's good enough clearance for you to say, you can play. Now, maybe not. Maybe that's not how it worked out. I don't know. But I would assume that for them to give her the option, she would have had to have had medical clearance. So, can't have your cake and eat it too. But that's what people try and do, along with bouncing checks in the house and all other kinds of stuff. So, we see that this is the Big Nose Challenge. I don't know how many Big Brother challenges I could win. I don't think I could win very much, but anything that has to do with a big nose, I'm your guy. I could definitely win that. And then, we see that Michael ends up winning. Taylor thinks he's going to save her. She feels confident. She says, I wanted to win, but beyond me, I would want it to be Michael. So we see that, she's got high hopes on what he will do. After the veto comp, we see Taylor is really hardcore selling it to Pooch, talking about how, I'm going home, I'm just a weapon, or I'm just a pawn, and I can't believe I'm on the block 2 weeks in a row. And I'm for sure going home this time. And he's like, oh, you never know what happens. But he's starting to get nervous. And he's starting to see that there's something else going on. And he's realizing that it may not be as sure of a thing. So she's really trying to sell it. Now, whether or not he's buying, I don't think he's buying as much as she would like him to. I think he is somewhat, but subconsciously he's realizing that he messed up. And then, so that conversation ends, and then Taylor turns the feeds and says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. So she's confident in the plan to backdoor Pooch. She should be. She should be confident because it is likely, but anything can change. At the beginning of the week, I didn't think it was. I thought it would surely flip before now, and it hasn't. So, her likelihood of staying is pretty high. I still don't know that I could see that great of a path to the end for her. I do currently, but I think at the moment people still think she's too disposable. But that can change as the weeks go on. We've already made a lot of progress, so we'll just keep seeing how much further she can get. And, she could flip things. She really could, especially if she gets enough people to be sympathetic towards her, the right people. I don't think she can go all in on an all-girls alliance and that be her best route. I think she's got to throw in a little bit of a mix, especially throwing Michael in there. But I can see a way to form a path to the end, but I don't currently see that path yet. So we'll just have to wait and see what all comes of that. Pooch says he is confident. He says he doesn't even need the veto. Because Taylor's the house target. So he is trying to convince himself hardcore that he is safe. And secretly he is panicking right now. And then, that's pretty much it. Michael doesn't use the veto. And both Taylor and Pooch talk about how safe they feel. We'll, if nothing gets revealed between now and probably tomorrow when the eviction actually happens, there's going to be a blind side. It's going to be a good one, unless someone rats out the Pooch. But I think that even if somehow in the last 24 hours the vote did flip, that Taylor would still be blindsided. She might see that there's stuff going on, but I think she would be blindsided. And that's kind of scary for her because she's going into this thinking she's got it in the bag. And at the moment she does, but anything can happen. I think that'll end it for tonight's episode. We kind of touch base on some of the other stuff. I'm happy to get this out there. Like I said, it felt so long since we last put a video together and posted anything. And it's only been since Sunday, but it feels way too long. So we'll get this out. And, if there are no feeds, then, everyone the momentum's already dying. So put it on the shelf for a couple days, get some sunlight, and some water, and maybe some food, and maybe interact with real people instead of just watching them 24/7. And we'll take a little bit of a break, myself included in all of that. We'll take a little bit of a break and socialize with some people a little bit, and hopefully come back Sunday evening as soon as the West Coast airing and be able to get those feeds back. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple days to see what happens and what doesn't happen, and the fallout of how that came to be, and piece it together the best we can. It's going to be a puzzle Sunday evening or all night trying to figure everything out, but I think we'll get there. So, all right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did like it and you like what we're doing here on this channel, we got lots more content coming your way. Please make sure to hit that like button, and if you have really loved it, you're loving this community, and you want to hop on for the ride, please hit that subscribe button. It means the absolute world to me. And again, don't forget to hit the notification bell, get notifications on all my video uploads, as well as any live streams that I do for the live feed watch-alongs. And last thing but not least, please, if you haven't already and you do have Twitter, go and find me and add me on Twitter at DakChats. Reason why I say that is because I cannot post in the community tab. I haven't hit that tier yet. So any channel updates, any video updates, and any commentary that I give is all going to be there until we get to the point where we can start posting the community tab. So, yeah, hit me up there. And like I said, like, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and hope you guys are having fun. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.